This wife appliance is glitching. She's showing signs of malfunctioning because she has the nerve to be an actual human. She's about to go through menopause. She made this post in the Menopause subreddit saying, "My partner says he will not go through menopause with me." She says, "I have some signs of perimenopause, including a loss of sex drive and increased anxiety. My partner of 10 years and the father to my children has said he will not stay around for menopause and would prefer to be on his own. Has anyone else's partners made such a comment? I find it an odd comment and obviously not very supportive or respectful of women's bodies. We have daughters also, so this annoys me that this is his view of a woman's body. Once they get a certain age, they're done." And this... As I keep saying this, but women change, people change, humans change, all living beings change. And these people really do think that we are appliances or robots or something. And he has come out and said, "I'm not going to stick with you." And she's asking these questions. And the only thing she should be asking is, what are the next steps? Because he said he's not going to do this. So that should be her switch, like flick it off, because there is no need to even put any more thought into him as a human being, because he has said, "You are discardable. I am discarding you because you have the nerve to be a human being." And this is one of the reasons why I say every single day, multiple times a day, that these people need to be lonelier. And like she said, she has daughters. She's going to know, they are going to know how their dad feels about women in general based on what he has said and the reason why he needs to leave their mother. And like the very first comment that I see under this, it says, "Wow, what a piece of wow, what a piece of that's enough right there. Leave him. He's not worthy." And she says, "My thoughts also, but wanted to confirm." There's no need to confirm. You already know this. She says, "But wanted to confirm, as this is a new stage of my life, and I didn't know if other men responded this way also. Surely not." Smile says, "My ex piece of husband was unsupportive, angry, and dismissive in the face of my gynae problems. He genuinely acted as though I was doing it all deliberately to ruin his life. I effing understandably lost interest in sex. So he had affairs and blamed me for them. Separation, then divorce gave me my life back. And I'm so glad his character hasn't impacted my sons. One of them doesn't speak to him anymore. If you can, get out and have a better life without him." The OP, whose name says, "My name is not Earl," that's a funny name, says, "I'm so sorry you went through this. This absolutely sounds like the narrative my partner will make up. Deflecting and blaming, no accountability or empathy. I do worry about the impact on the children too, and it's definitely time to leave and enter the next chapter fresh." Smile says, "My main reason for ending it was my boys. I couldn't bear to see them have him as their main male role model. But honestly, the day he left was one of the happiest of my life. I felt like I've grown 6 inches. I went on to meet a man who is the love of my life and who supported me through my issues, then hysterected me. But frankly, I'd have been happy to have been on my own without him for the rest of my life." My name is Earl says, "I'm so sorry you experienced a piece of very happy you went on to meet a man who is the love of your life and is supportive and empathetic. This phase of life really does have its benefits." Cautious Elk says, "Absolutely right choice to make. My ex, very good looking and rich, told me he could replace me with a 23-year-old, so I need to start worrying about what I look like naked for him. I was mid-30s, 52 kilograms, working out 3 times a week, plus doing 70K to 100K steps a day." Just to let you know, 52 kilograms is around 114 pounds. She says, "I left him and have not regretted it one bit. Actually feel much happier now that I don't have someone chipping away at my self-worth every day." She says, ironically, have also had a couple of 24-year-olds develop huge year-long crushes on me, wanting to get into a serious relationship. Not that I'm interested. In contrast, he couldn't believe I would have had the audacity to leave him behind along with the plush glam lifestyle. He spiraled with addiction and destroyed his health. The adjustment period will be short-term hard, but soon enough new doors will open and you will feel so much happier. Wishing you lots of luck. The OP says, I'm so sorry you had to experience this. That is such gross male behavior for many, many reasons, but I feel there's a lot of feral men out there with similar views. I can only see positives to leaving. I understand there will be an adjustment period and financially we'll have to adjust things, but emotionally cannot see any cons to leaving. So it sounds like this woman is pretty much out the door. She just needed a little validation. That's why Pickled Cuck says, I live for stories like that. Do Canadians even exist says, stop worrying and start taking charge of the narrative. He's laid down his ultimatum, now lay down yours. Stop giving an F about his feelings and do what you want. When the estrogen is all gone, you'll no longer care what he wants. And I don't even know why this is an ultimatum, because this is not like some choices that she's made or not making or some action or inaction that she's doing. She's just changing and being a human. And he's like, can't have you being a human. But she's absolutely right. Stop worrying and just start taking charge. I'll end with this final page. She says, thank you. Thank you to everyone's supportive comments. I honestly wasn't sure what the response would be, but it's clear he's a piece of And then Sephora says, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry you're going through this. That sucks. You deserve someone who will be with you, supporting you. And then finally, at the bottom, Surround Quirky says, trust yourself in your own feelings. If he's an ass about this, he's an ass about other things too. Start really looking at your marriage, and I think you'll see all the ways he's letting you down. Listen, ladies, there are so many changes. We go through so many changes being women. Obviously, we all go through, the change when we get our periods and everything, and the hormone changes when we get pregnant and have children and all of that. There are so many things that we go through. It is not shameful. This is just part of life. And there is no reason why we should be shamed for simply living an extra year or moving to a different stage in our life. Men have been able to shame women for getting older because they have been the ones that create the narrative, throughout history. They've made getting older like something bad, and they've always built the evil and wicked and bitter women as the older women. And we have to keep having these discussions and reshaping the narrative, because there's nothing wrong with getting older. We're getting older. We have more experience. We can talk to women. We can talk to girls. We can, just live life and age well and age gracefully. But you can't age well and age gracefully if you have someone that is in your life that is pulling you down and chipping away at you. Leave those people alone, because they are sucking you dry. And if you don't have support, all they are an anchor, and they're pulling you down and they're sucking your life force. We already have enough that we go through on a day-to-day basis. You don't need some parasite, some person that's just hurtful to your self-esteem. Get rid of them, and then you'll glow, and then you could be 6 inches taller, like that other woman said. Join the conversation. Let me know what you think about this one. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.
Girl, you have a fat ass, that body's T, that waist is slim. Say I know! You have a fat ass, that body's T, that waist is slim, that face is pretty.
We do need to create a wife material bingo card. We just have to do it, because this basketball player, Michael Porter Jr., talking about what he wants in a wife. She got to bring something to the table. She got to be able to cook, clean, help me mentally. These girls today want to live like queens and do nothing. He hit so many of these. He hit a bunch of bingos. If we had a bingo card, he would have hit it, because this is what they talk about all the time. Income level does not matter. They need someone to be a servant, and an unpaid servant, because yes, this man has money. But if you are the girlfriend of this person, and even if he does give you a few gifts or whatnot, he could still be paying for a maid. He could still be paying for a personal chef or to have meals delivered. But he needs somebody that's going to be there and basically be his wife appliance. Why? Why do they have these conversations all the time? And the comment section was flooded. So let's look at some of the comments. So we have this sarcastic comment from Rabbit Chasing the Carrot. And we see this throughout the comment section. He says, clearly he'll never marry. His standards are too high, right, ladies? How dare he ask or expect you to cook? They say this like this, but so many, no matter, and I keep saying it, the income level of the man, the income level of the woman could, the David, Justice, and Halle Berry situation. No matter what, they expect the woman to be in the kitchen cooking and cleaning because that is her role. She has a uterus. She's supposed to be cooking and cleaning, and that's it. That is all they see us as. At what point do we? And I said this on the post, that they see us as a wife appliance. All the time, you can see this. This is the reason why I keep saying they dehumanize us to the point where all we are good for is cooking, cleaning, being a bang maid, and being an incubator. After that, they don't see our humanity in anything else of value. When they talk about what do you bring to the table, they're talking about which meals can you cook the best, and that's it. Then we have Dang saying he's bringing $180 million to the table. He's allowed to ask for a wife who can cook and clean like WTF. And that is absolutely true. He can ask for whatever he wants to ask for. But let's not act like he's taking that pile of money and putting it here like this is for us. Like, let's not act like he's not keeping this money for himself and, saying this is my money. This is my money. Let's be real about that. Rod's IG says he can find someone no problem. Thing is, he's got to worry about that divorce and losing half of his net worth. He should stay single and enjoy that NBA life while he's in the NBA. And that's another thing that they do. They talk about divorce. This dude don't even have a woman. And Rod's IG is talking about the divorce. But that's the thing. All they think about is keeping a hold of their money. That's all they think about. The fact that he wants a wife appliance is all about making sure he doesn't have to pay for any of these services that he thinks should be free, because women are the resources and they should be doing all of this stuff for free. And then they think about divorce because they don't think that a woman should be getting anything at all. In all of these situations, it's his money and he should be able to hold on to it. And like each one of these things that they're saying, there's no world where a woman should be able to get any kind of money. So hold on to it. Yes, if that's what you want and that's what's going to make you happy, is making sure you have all the money, cool. But make sure that someone is doing the cooking and cleaning, and then just do the aftercare stuff. Pay for a nurse, pay for the long-term care situation. All of that is going to happen after the MBA anyway. What woman in her right mind is going to want to be a nurse to a broken down NBA player? Rob says the comments are wild. People debating if he wants a partner or a mom/maid. Funny how that energy disappears when it's women asking for a man to pay all their bills, cover every outing, and basically fund their lifestyle. Last time I had someone do all that for me, I was a kid. The double standard is loud, and the comment section is full of white knights proving the point. But the thing is, these conversations keep getting had because they are always extra transactional. If you are going to demand a wife appliance, then yes, you're going to find the person that is looking for that type of situation. But then there are those of us that are having a conversation that is saying, okay, let's have more of a partnership. Stop talking so much about the wife being a servant of the home. How about we all pitch in? We all keep going to work. We all pitch in the home like we live here and we're some actual adults that are participating in the home. We can have all of these conversations and, be supportive, have some reciprocity, all of that. They don't want to have these conversations. Now we got Marcellus at the bottom. He says, you expect a wife to clean a big mansion? Ninja got $180 million contract talking about cooking and cleaning. Just hire somebody. What are we talking about here? Exactly, Marcellus. What are we talking about? You got $180 million. Really? You can't just pay for services? I'm glad that Marcellus said it. Golden Vault Clothing posted this picture underneath Marcellus's comment saying his brain is empty, but his mouth is full. His brain is empty and he's just doing a bunch of talking because Marcellus says just pay for someone to do it. And they're just like, This makes no sense to me. Now Rabbit chasing the carrot starts going back and forth with Marcellus. So Rabbit says, bro, you tripping. Cleaning is one thing, cooking is another. And then Marcellus says, bro, if I got a $180 million contract, I'm hiring a chef. Are you serious? And then Rabbit says, that's you, bro. I respect it. Just know, don't complain about the monster you'll create. Me, yes, I'll have a chef on occasion, but she will be cooking. And then Mark says, yeah, I guess it's just me. If I had the money to where I could take that load off my wife completely, I'd much rather her spend her time chasing her dreams and doing what makes her happy. Yes. Yes. See, some dudes get it because truthfully, and I'm just going to be honest, if I was even making $250,000 a year, I'm not cooking. If I was making like $200,000 a year, I'm not doing my laundry anymore. I cannot stand laundry. Offload some things. If you offload some things, it's not going to make somebody's life completely change. I don't think I'm going to be walking around the house in like some diamonds in a fur simply because I have someone that I can, pay for services. But it would make my day a lot easier. Yay. Happy. Life is good, right? McKenna says, are you serious, Marcellus? The man is bringing in $180 million. He can demand whatever the F he wants. If she can't cook or clean and is only good for cat, why even get married? See, it's all about money in exchange for a cat, and that's it. Or that money in exchange for cooking and cleaning. It's all a transaction. It's not about anything deeper than this. And this is the reason why they will continue to struggle to find companionship. But then Marcellus says, I mean, sure, but that take sounds like you view women as property to be paid for. If you think the only thing a woman can offer is cooking, cleaning, and cat, then that's a you problem. And they are coming right out and saying it. That is all she's good for is cooking, cleaning, and cat. That's all. And so when I say things like women are nothing but a bang maid, a wife appliance, and an incubator, they're like, what? No, that's literally, that's what they say. Sherry says, what if his wife also brings in money? Then who cooks and cleans? Who is cooking and cleaning for him now? Why can't it be both a true partnership? And then this person says, realistically, he isn't going to find a woman who brings in the money on that level he does, so her money will be irrelevant. It's never going to be a true partnership because he will always earn significantly more than her. He is saying that if you want to live the lifestyle of a millionaire, then you need to cook and clean. Plenty of women would take that deal. It is what it is. But are other millionaires that are not these colored folks, are they making their wives cook and clean? Like are the non-athlete millionaires, are they making their wives cook and clean? I don't think that they need to talk to other folks because I don't believe that other millionaires in finance or something are making their wives cook and clean. I don't know for sure, though. I'm not a millionaire. I wanted to end with this one. Ashley says, does it matter? A white woman just going to take all his money. And then she got Felicia Rashad sitting there filing her nails. And then Stegan the Malian, she's up here doing this with her fingers. And that's how we're going to end it. Because, yes, if he does get him a wife, she's just going to take half. Whatever. Just let him go. Anyways, let me know what you think about this. Like, comment, and share. I was sent this post this morning, and this man posted in the relationship advice subreddit saying, I made a mistake by choosing the hot one. So this 27-year-old man chose the hot woman who is 25. He says, so I was recently chatting with two girls, one super hot, but not really my vibe personality wise. And the other not as flashy, but way more on my wavelength. With her, the convo just flowed. We clicked, had similar interests, and the chemistry was there. The other one, yeah, she was a total knockout, and we were definitely into each other physically, but the talks were shallow, and we didn't connect much beyond the surface. Even knowing that, I let the hormones do the talking and gave more attention to the hot but boring one. I let the other girl down politely, but honestly, I felt bad. I actually liked hanging out with her. Why is it so damn hard to find someone who's hot and actually cool to be around? And he says, not gonna lie, Maybe I'm the shallow guy, but let's be honest, physical attraction does matter when choosing someone. Why does it always have to be looks or personality? Can't it be both? Every single day I open up these apps and I say to myself, these people need to be lonelier. And it is absolutely valid. It's absolutely valid to be attracted to somebody. That is true. That's how you reel someone in. You look at them like, dang, I want to get to know them better. But after you get to know someone and you're not really feeling it, if you stay with looks only, we are human. Our looks are going to change. Things still have to go deeper than surface level. Do you like this person? And he already knows that he's shallow. So people are probably looking at him like, dang, he's hot. But I wouldn't want to pursue anything serious with this person anyway, because all he has is he's hot, if he's even hot. They make their personality going to the gym, their height, and their money. That is their whole personality. When they talk about things on dating apps, it's only shallow stuff. And then he's sitting up here confused that he's running into shallow people. You're running into yourself because you are not very deep at all. And then you find someone that you vibe with and you do the shallow thing. You discard her because you're shallow. So this type of person is never going to be happy because he hasn't found anything outside of himself. He's too shallow even within himself to find a deeper connection with a person. Mensura says, honestly, if you're that shallow, why do you think you deserve someone who's the full package? And this is the OP. His name is Familiar Muscle. Okay, Familiar Muscle. He says, I don't think I deserve it, but it doesn't hurt to try. He says, edit, I'll never be able to recover my commentary karma. Look at this stuff. WTF. For this one, he is downvoted negative 490 times. He says, I don't think I deserve it, but it doesn't hurt to try. But he sees it. He sees like, dang, nobody likes the things that I'm saying. And this is hilarious. Country Ether says, why don't you work on improving your personality so that you do deserve it instead of whining about a false dichotomy? At the bottom, Terrible Problem says, it hurts the person you're attempting to inflict yourself upon. We know you're not telling these women upfront how shallow you are, so you deceive women to use them. Absolutely. They're not being upfront. He's not being upfront. I had to click into his profile. He has his posts and his comments hidden. I don't know if y'all know, but you can hide your post history and your comment history. But this is his profile picture. So Familiar Muscle, his name and the fact that he said he's shallow, it made me click in. And this is his picture. Let's blow this up. And here he is. You already know that getting his macros, going to the gym, his height, and however much money he makes, that is the totality of his personality. Just he is probably as deep as a teaspoon, and he's sitting up here calling the hot woman shallow. Well, you've met your match, Familiar Muscle. All right, so once again, Terrible Problem says, it hurts the person you're attempting to inflict yourself upon. We all know you're not telling these women upfront how shallow you are. So you deceive women to use them. And to that, the man says, I don't hurt anyone, just myself sometimes with my choices. Yeah, right. You don't know that. He probably ghosts people. She does a little violin, and he says, I prefer a guitar. I don't like that much violin. Terrible Problem responds with, fascinating. Since you like to inform us of such things, you also share all your thoughts on women's incapability of being attractive and intelligent on the first dates, I presume, or all your honest thoughts on women. Also, do not feel bad for letting women who would be better off without you down. Edit. Also, why did you agree to go on multiple dates with a woman you're not attracted to? And then Carmackie says, your jokes aren't funny either. And then Familiar Muscle just gives a thumbs up. So Unc hones in on, why is it so damn hard to find someone who's hot and actually cool to be around? And then they say, first, ask yourself, are you that person to others? Because from one thing you told us about yourself, you do sound kind of shallow. And I would take the kind of out of it. He does sound shallow. He is shallow. And then Familiar Muscle, we're going to keep highlighting his name. He says, I'm trying, but the full answer seems to be coming from others, not from myself. And as I said, maybe I'm shallow, but physical attraction is part of the game. It's hard to choose one over the other. The perfect scenario would be finding someone you're attracted to and who has a great personality, but it's kind of difficult. And then Ankh says, my point is that there are women who are both good looking and interesting at the same time, even for your standards. But then the question is, why would they be interested in you? Why would they go for you instead of someone who isn't shallow? That's the point he's not understanding. And that's why Saturn says literally all of this. And then Time Arachnid said, would women who are attractive with a great personality see you as someone who is also attractive with a great personality? Bexcellent says, pulling a person who is both very attractive and has a great personality will frequently require you to have both of those attributes as well. And from your responses here, you're deficient in at least one. And then Dating Coach says, I mean, honestly, if you're the shallow guy, you don't have a good personality. The other girl dodged a bullet. And women care more about personality than you. So one that has a good one, once she knows who you truly are, won't want anything to do with you. And then Familiar Muscle says, what? I'm the bad guy just for having preferences? I didn't hurt her or her feelings. I didn't ghost her and I wasn't rude. Okay, at least he didn't ghost her. Even though I handled it politely, I still felt bad. And then Important Log says, bruh, you literally wrote about how you prioritize looks over chemistry. Your boner makes the decisions over your heart. That does make you objectively gross to women. And then Several Adeptness says, I have the feeling the hot one isn't actually boring. She just doesn't feel safe enough to let her interest. I got cut off. She doesn't feel safe enough to let her interest out. And you never know. But what we do know is this dude is probably not going to be a safe enough person for a woman long term anyway, because we do change. Our hormones change, our bodies change, our hair changes, our face changes, things droop. And if he's the type of person that is so shallow like right now, and he's only 27, is only going to continue as he gets older. Anyways, let me know what you think about this one. Did this make you chuckle? It definitely made me chuckle this morning. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.
The devil came for me this morning. For the first time since I restarted my gay sobriety last week, I was confronted by temptation. I just left the gym, and as I was changing in the men's locker room, a man comes in. I see him and I say, good morning, as I would to anyone else. As I'm changing, I start to notice his eyes planted firmly on my body. I glance over to make sure that my senses aren't deceiving me, and sure enough, he cracks a smile. His advances are ignored. Then I go to take a seat on the bench to put on my shoes and socks, at which point he starts to get undressed. Nothing out of the ordinary. It is the men's locker room after all. At this point, only he and I remain in the room. He's completely undressed, and he turns around and looks at me and smiles again. Now, if this were a few weeks ago, I might have been intrigued by his flirtatious behavior. But today, I said nay. As he continued to smile at me, I frowned. I have worked very hard to get to this point in my sobriety, and I will not be tripped up by a trick. So I quickly gathered my things and scurried out of there. I'm proud of myself for rejecting temptation and staying true to who I am and committed to my future wife. It's because of her that I made it out of there alive.